The Syrian civil war has been one of the most devastating conflicts of the 21st century. If you want to know more about this secret operation, then be sure to go to my YouTube channel and watch the full-length video. The civil war has led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people and displaced millions more. The war has also had a profound impact on the region, contributing to the rise of extremist groups and fueling a refugee crisis. The United States has been deeply involved in the conflict, providing military and financial support to various factions. One of the most controversial aspects of U.S. involvement was a covert program known as Operation Timber Sycamore. Operation Timber Sycamore was a clandestine CIA operation launched during the Obama administration. Its aim was to train and arm Syrian rebels fighting against the regime of Bashar al-Assad. The program began in 2012 or 2013 and continued until 2017. But with the Syrian government's recent downfall, the question is, did it actually end then? If you like learning about these types of things, then please subscribe to my channel and check out all the videos I have. Thank you for supporting my channel. I try to deliver factual evidence about the subjects I cover on my channel, and I know that everyone has varying viewpoints, especially on controversial topics. Just because I make a video about something does not mean I support that subject. Rather, it's just to help myself and my viewers learn more about it. Operation Timber Sycamore was a significant escalation of U.S. involvement in the Syrian civil war, and its consequences are still being felt today. The program was shrouded in secrecy, and its details were not widely known until years later. Investigative journalists and whistleblowers played a crucial role in bringing the operation to light. Their work revealed the vast scale of the program and raised serious questions about its effectiveness and legality. Operation Timber Sycamore was a gamble by the Obama administration, a bet that supporting Syrian rebels could help topple Assad and bring an end to the conflict. However, the program had unintended consequences, contributing to the spread of violence and instability in the region. The story of Operation Timber Sycamore is a cautionary tale about the risks of covert operations and the unintended consequences of foreign intervention. The primary goal of Operation Timber Sycamore was to support Syrian rebel groups fighting against the Assad regime. The Obama administration believed that Assad was a brutal dictator who had lost legitimacy. They hoped that by supporting the rebels, they could help to bring about a democratic transition in Syria. The CIA was tasked with running the program, which involved providing weapons, training, and funding to vetted rebel groups. The agency worked with partners in the region, including Turkey, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia, to channel support to the rebels. The program was highly secretive, and its existence was not publicly acknowledged by the U.S. government. The Obama administration argued that supporting the Syrian rebels was in the national security interests of that United States. They claimed that Assad's regime was a state sponsor of terrorism and that his removal from power would help to stabilize the region. However, critics of the program argued that it was illegal and counterproductive. The goals of Operation Timber Sycamore were ambitious, but the program ultimately failed to achieve its objectives. The Syrian civil war dragged on for years, and Assad remained in power. The program also had unintended consequences, contributing to the spread of violence and instability in the region. Operation Timber Sycamore was a complex logistical undertaking that involved the CIA working with a network of partners to funnel weapons and supplies to Syrian rebels. The agency procured weapons from various sources, including Eastern Europe and the former Soviet Union. These weapons were then shipped to countries bordering Syria, such as Turkey and Jordan. Once the weapons arrived in these countries, they were distributed to rebel groups through a network of intermediaries. The CIA also provided training to rebel fighters on how to use the weapons they were receiving. This training was often conducted in secret camps located in neighboring countries. The CIA went to great lengths to conceal its involvement in the program. The agency used front companies and shell corporations to purchase weapons and move money. They also relied on foreign partners to provide plausible deniability for their actions. The program was not without its critics. Some argued that the CIA was providing weapons to extremist groups, including those with ties to Al-Qaeda. Others questioned the effectiveness of the program, arguing that it was doing little to change the course of the war in Syria. Operation Timber Sycamore was a costly endeavor for the United States. The exact cost of the program is unknown, as it was shrouded in secrecy. However, estimates suggest that the CIA spent billions of dollars on weapons, training, and other support for Syrian rebels. The program was funded through a combination of sources, including the CIA's covert operations budget and contributions from partner countries. Saudi Arabia in particular was a major financial backer of the program. The Saudis shared the United States' goal of removing Assad from power and were willing to spend lavishly to achieve that objective. The financial costs of Operation Timber Sycamore were significant, but the program also had other hidden costs. The CIA's involvement in the Syrian civil war diverted resources from other priorities, such as counterterrorism efforts. The program also damaged the United States' reputation in the region, as it was seen by some as meddling in the affairs of a sovereign nation. Section 5. Unintended consequences fueling extremism. One of the most significant criticisms of Operation Timber Sycamore was that it contributed to the rise of extremist groups in Syria. The CIA's vetting process for rebel groups was often flawed, and weapons ended up in the hands of groups with ties to Al-Qaeda and other terrorist organizations. The program also had the unintended consequence of creating a black market for weapons in the region. Weapons supplied by the CIA were often sold or traded on the black market, ending up in the hands of various armed groups, including extremists. The proliferation of weapons in Syria fueled the violence and instability in the country. It also made it more difficult to find a political solution to the conflict. The rise of extremist groups, such as ISIS, was a direct consequence of the chaos and lawlessness that engulfed Syria. Section 6. The Syrian Quagmire. A legacy of intervention. Operation Timber Sycamore is a prime example of the unintended consequences of foreign intervention. The program was launched with the goal of helping to bring about a democratic transition in Syria. However, it ended up contributing to the very problems it was intended to solve. The program fueled the violence in Syria, prolonged the conflict, and contributed to the rise of extremist groups. It also damaged the United States' reputation in the region and undermined its credibility as a global leader. The legacy of Operation Timber Sycamore is a cautionary tale about the limits of American power. The United States cannot impose its will on other countries, and its interventions often have unintended consequences. The Syrian civil war is a reminder that there are no easy solutions to complex problems. Section 7. The human cost of war. The Syrian civil war has had a devastating impact on the Syrian people. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed, and millions more have been displaced from their homes. The war has created a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. The conflict has also had a profound psychological impact on the Syrian people. The constant violence and fear have left many traumatized. The war has torn apart families and communities. The international community has struggled to respond to the Syrian crisis. The United Nations has been unable to broker a peace agreement, and humanitarian aid has been slow to reach those in need. Section 8. The future of Syria, challenges and uncertainties. The future of Syria remains uncertain. The war has created a complex web of actors and interests, making it difficult to find a lasting solution. The country is fragmented, with various groups controlling different parts of the territory. The Assad regime has emerged from the conflict weakened, but still in power. Russia and Iran have played a key role in propping up the regime. The United States and its allies have withdrawn their support for the Syrian opposition, but they remain wary of Iran's influence in the country. The Syrian people face a daunting task in rebuilding their lives and their country. The war has destroyed infrastructure, shattered the economy, and left deep scars on Syrian society. Section 9. Conclusion. Lessons from a covert war. Operation Timber Sycamore was a costly and ultimately counterproductive intervention in the Syrian civil war. The program failed to achieve its objectives and had a number of unintended consequences, including fueling the rise of extremist groups. The Syrian civil war is a reminder of the complexities of foreign intervention and the limits of American power. The United States must be cautious about using military force to achieve its foreign policy objectives. It must also be mindful of the unintended consequences of its actions. The Syrian people have paid a heavy price for the failure of the international community to find a solution to the conflict. The war has left the country in ruins and its people traumatized. The international community must work together to provide humanitarian assistance to the Syrian people and to help them rebuild their lives. I thank you for watching and supporting my channel. Please subscribe to get my newest content, and as always, stay informed.